Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another weather forecast here by Adrian's Weather Forecast. This is now my third update here on this major severe weather outbreak here. A week ago, we saw one of the most historic severe weather outbreaks in the southeast on Easter, and this looks like it could be a resemblance of this. Obviously, this won't be as worse, as bad as well. But again, still a threat as we do have a level 4, again, moderate, still extending. We also have these tornado watches pushing east now as far east as the Alabama and Georgia border, where we have these tornado watches, including major cities like Montgomery, Jackson, and other areas that saw tornadoes last week. We also have now new tornado reports here in Texas and Mississippi. So it looks like we kind of got lucky on the Louisiana part, but definitely not out of the neck of the woods yet, and we're not even halfway done with this outbreak. We still have, again, much of Alabama, especially Georgia. It looks like Georgia definitely has a very big threat for seeing some very strong bands and potential tornado makers, especially SCPs are pretty high as well. And then South Carolina looks like you guys are also having a huge threat as well. Again, it's not even close to being done with Mississippi as well. But again, thank you guys so much for all the support in the past couple of days. We've been getting a good amount of subscribers today, so that really meant a lot. Again, I really do apologize for not being able to go live stream. I will try to fix that as fast as I can. I just guess with the coronavirus, they have not been able to fix the falsely reported report, and because the 3 months has been the 3 months has passed. It's almost been it's almost been 8 months. So I hope once this coronavirus does go down, I will be able to fix my live streaming issue, since it's been expired forever. And also, I'm almost monetized, so I'll be able to email YouTube directly once I'm monetized. So again, be sure to watch as much as you can so I can fix that live streaming issue as fast as I can. Again, be sure to share the channel to any friends or family, as many friends or family members that you know, because this is definitely a major severe weather outbreak and tornado outbreak, especially as we get closer to the overnight hours, and we need as many people to be weather aware of this. So please share as many people as possible, whether it's the channel or the video link. And also, if you're new yourself, also be sure to subscribe. But without further ado, let's get these new updates. So again, we're going to go straight off to that tornado warning here in actually Alabama. So again, this is actually where we had a tornado report actually for south of Meridian. Yeah, that's where we actually saw a tornado report actually. And this cell is actually now moving eastward into the Alabama area near south of Demopolis. That again is where we have this tornado report, and it's going to be possibly again strengthening as it does move on now more eastward again. Seeing these tornado watches now as well into Alabama. We have that for Troy, Montgomery, and other and major other little areas out here into Alabama. We still even have these tornado warnings with these smaller cells. Look at these very strong bands developing out here into Louisiana and Texas. We still have those tornado watches that have been there. I believe they go away, or they expire at 6 p.m. Central Time. I believe so. We have it. I believe they do. Yeah. So that's going to be for Lake Charles. We actually have Baton Rouge now under these tornado watches. Again, also, again, Fort Arthur. Also, again, getting closer and closer to the New Orleans area. We have New Iberia. Again, also into as well the Jackson area. Into the Mississippi area. Again, we have that near the Laurel, in between the Laurel Meridian area. We had a very strong tornado actually move in that area a couple minutes ago. So yeah, I was actually in between Stonewall and Quitman. That's again just south of Meridian. Like I said, south of Meridian. Now we actually in that area have a severe thunderstorm warning and a severe thunderstorm watch. Severe thunderstorm warning and a tornado watch. That is what we have again right there. Again, in that area that just saw a tornado again near Stonewall and Quitman. And again, as you can tell, this this tornado warning is now out there into the areas southwest of Demopolis. Again, that's going to be for, I believe, the State Road I-80 or State Highway 80. Again, that's going to be now, again, extending all the way now possibly into the Demopolis area, of course, into also including State Road 21. So again, that's what we have there. And then we also have the tornado watches, of course, for Alexandria still, Monroe under flash flood warning with the incredibly heavy rain, Brookhaven, Macomb, Hattiesburg under tornado watches still. And again, now we're also going to be taking a look at potential chance for severe weather now moving to Georgia. Looks like areas near Columbus, LaGrange, y'all can possibly extend now into the tornado watches awfully soon. And of course, we have that severe weather statement here out there, that where we had that again very strong supercell. Again, we do had again that possibly bringing very strong severe weather, and again we have that for a potential chance for that, seeing that severe thunderstorm warning expiring soon. But again, that exact same area near in between Meridian, where we have the Stonewall equipment area, there it actually under, of course, under that level 4 risk. Again, nothing much for Jackson, nothing much for Laurel, Hattiesburg, Yazoo City. Those areas did get hit by tornadoes last week, but again, also so did the Meridian area, and that tornado was just south of Meridian. Now we're gonna be looking at the radar. Actually, I want to look at very detailed radar, actually, where we actually have that tornado warning. I actually want to go pay attention to that really quickly here. Let me actually refresh again. So I want to really pay attention right here to that tornado warning. Really detailed. If it actually takes me there, it actually won't. Okay. So again, this is a very detailed radar here. Again, this is what we're looking at right now with this tornado warning. It was this very strong band, of course, that did pass right here. Of course, past the southern Meridian area near Equipment. Also, again, passing the area near Stonewall. This is going to be now extending at moving to the Atlanta or the Alabama state line border with Mississippi. Again, still having a supercell here. We actually did have a defined hook. But I actually can't go as I can't really zoom in as close to look at that defined hook. But we definitely have some defined hook, and that definitely brought a lot of rotation, which of course brought in that tornado, and that is now moving to the Alabama area. Also seeing some very strong linear lines as well, moving into the Jackson, Mississippi area as well. That's also going to be moving once again to the Meridian and maybe Hattiesburg area, and of course very strong bands developing once again now into the western Louisiana area. Also out here into the eastern Texas. It's been there since early this morning. We're still seeing these bands developing scattered out here to just north of Houston. We also saw a tornado report, and again we're also seeing these little stronger bands now moving to the Georgia area. These will be on the lighter side. Could be seeing some heavy rain, but not as, of course, not going to be seeing really supercells at all. Not a very little rotation. We did see a little rotation actually in this band, but that has gone down and it has really fallen apart. But that again was actually moving right there into southern Georgia. We actually had to look. I actually was looking very closely into that supercell, but again it had a very little rotation. Now we're looking at the day one outlook. Again has changed. Which again I'm actually now really in the no risk now. I'm actually gone down from a level 2 earlier today to actually going down. I actually expected to go up, but again, definitely going down in that risk. I'm actually I'm actually on the board of that no risk with the marginal. So again, we still have that slight risk again, all the way from the areas into Oklahoma, now into the areas of the North Carolina area and southeastern North Carolina again. So basically, the slight risk, we have a decent chance for possibly seeing some smaller spin-ups, tornadoes, and possibly on the smaller side of hail. But again, those impacts are going to be on the lower side, as you are in the level 2 out of the highest risk is the 4. So again, you could still possibly see some spin-ups, possibly some tornadoes. So don't really take out that risk just because you're in a slight risk or slight chance. It's still a chance that you can possibly see some tornadoes, hail, also damaging winds is actually probably the highest risk for you in the slight risk. But again, we still have tornadoes in areas in the marginal, so don't just say that, oh, you're just slight risk, so you're not going to get any tornadoes or any of that. Again, it's still likely, but just on the lower side. So that's going to be now for around 15 million people. That's including now Dallas, Atlanta, Georgia, Plano, Birmingham, and Garland, Texas. As into the slight risk has extended a bit, and Houston is actually now under that enhanced risk. So as you can tell, this enhanced risk is now continuing to move now southward, now getting into New Orleans as well, and getting to the Gulf Coast now, including the Pensacola and Mobile. So again, this is definitely moving down, and so is the moderate risk is actually moving now into the far southern parts of. We actually have a moderate risk now into Florida, the far northern panhandle, northwestern panhandle as well in that moderate. So definitely a new update there. So again, the enhanced risk, we have a very good chance for possibly seeing some very strong tornadoes, EF2 to EF4, EF5s. 60 plus mile per hour winds, and possibly seeing quarter-sized hail. So again, very big risk if you're in the enhanced risk. That stretches all the way from the Houston area up into the far southern tip of North Carolina. Again, we have major cities that have been extended like Houston, New Orleans, and also now Mobile. It has now been added to that, again, more into that enhanced risk. That's also going to be including Tallahassee and Baton Rouge. So the enhanced risk is now moving to the southwestern tip of Louisiana, and then might go all the way up into the island of southeastern Louisiana on the coastal areas. And now for the moderate risk, again, we actually have less people in it than earlier today. We actually have up to 5,065,000, but now it's going up to now 4.5 million people. Again, this month, the moderate risk, we had the biggest risk for severe weather today, with the biggest chance for very large tornadoes, wedge tornadoes, EF 3 to 5 tornadoes, very strong winds. Again, hurricane force winds with 70 plus mile per hour winds, and possibly tennis-sized hail, which is incredibly big. And of course, the damaging winds, possibly straight line winds. And of course, if we have a debris ball or anything that would be also obviously with the rotations, with a supercell, that will also bring a rotating wind, so all over the place, just depending on that. But if you're not in a rotating cell, you'd be seeing the biggest threat of straight line winds, of course, there. And if you obviously if you have a hook, like we saw in that near the Stonewall, with that hook coming there, and then having these air and winds coming the other way, of course you'll be seeing these winds coming all over the place except straight line winds. Again, tornado threat still about the same. Again, we still have the highest risk at a 15% chance. As you can tell, it is a lot different, though. The 5% chance has now been a lot further away, and it's actually going all the way now into the Houston area and all the way up into the southern Louisiana area as well. So definitely a major update, seeing a bit higher risk go all the way up to North Carolina as well. So in the 5% chance, it's a decent chance of seeing a tornado, because again, sometimes we have tornadoes in the non-risk areas as well. So 5% chance is a decent. It's a bit of a. Basically it's a smaller chance for tornadoes. That's going to be for around 15 million people, including Houston, New Orleans, Shreveport, Tallahassee, and Pasadena. And of course, our highest risk is a 15% chance. That is a very, very high risk for tornadoes, and it's basically almost guaranteed, because one of the tornadoes that we've seen today actually has been the 15% chance, and other tornado that we saw today was actually in the 5% chance. So we've actually seen a tornado today that has only been in the 5% chance risk for tornadoes. So that shows how even if you're in a 10% chance or 15% chance, you still see a very good chance for tornadoes. You can't rule that out. So again, there's in the highest risk for tornadoes: Montgomery, Columbus, Jackson, Macon, and Albany. And as you can tell, many of these cities have yet to be hit really all the way. Like Montgomery, you guys are actually now in the tornado watch that you've been added a couple minutes ago, and the tornado warning, of course, moving your way. So this is the new update actually. So yeah, this is actually a new update right now. So basically, yep. Of course, again, definitely going to see that risk with very strong winds as well. So again, really, really seeing some very strong, potential very damaging winds, possibly 65 plus knots out here in these areas for Montgomery, Columbus, Macon, Albany, Dalton. So definitely looks like we'll be seeing the worst of it in the overnight hours. So definitely nothing, something you don't want to see out here for areas into the southern Georgia area as well, to southeastern Alabama. And then we had that that bit of a lower risk on the hill. That's our least of concerns out of this outbreak, and that's going to be maintaining the areas that have mainly been hit, except these areas, of course, are actually, we still have these areas that are still seeing some potential more severe weather to come. So that's that. Now we're going to be looking at the severe weather reports again. As of what I know, I believe we've had 3 touchdown tornadoes, and actually it only shows 2 right now. So that's actually, even with the 3, that's actually on the lower side. Actually, I believe at around 6 o'clock on the last week, we already have the 30 tornadoes reported. So this is actually very good. Again, for those people who thought it was going to be worse than the Easter outbreak, it definitely wasn't at all. Even though we both had a moderate risk, I just believe the tornado risk was just going to be on the lower side. Even though they both had 15% chance, I just feel like the risk in general is going to be a lot lower. But we've already had half 100 reports here, up to 56, and again, we had a tornado report just southwest of Houston. That's actually in the 2% chance, I believe. So we actually had a tornado in the 2% chance, not 5% chance. And then we had the tornado, of course, near the Stonewall and Quitman, Mississippi area, of course, south of Meridian. We had the tornado report. I actually do not know exactly how large or the intensity of it. But again, I don't exactly know But again, we actually do actually have the tornado report. That's going to be for Brazoria County, Texas there. And that was just off Highway 35. And then it actually, the tornado near Clark County in Mississippi, again, near 4 miles east north of Equipment, like again, near the Stonewall area. Again, it was a brief tornado, and it was again 1 mile east of 45 Highway 45 near Equipment. It lasted about 30 seconds with the wall cloud. So yeah, this actually, when it says wall cloud continue to show signs of rotation afterwards, that's why we had the tornado warning now out here into the Alabama area, because it's still showing rotation, which is actually why we had that tornado warning. And actually, we have a new tornado warning actually in Louisiana. That's actually near Alexandria with that very strong wall cloud. Definitely something we need to focus on in the later in the video. Actually, I'll be focusing on that later. Now we're going to be looking at the NAM3 cam model again. Really strong bands again throughout. Supercells again developing near Alexandria, and also very strong bands again. That really strong band that's heading towards the state line with Alabama, Mississippi. That will be heading now into the Montgomery area, so could possibly seeing some threats from Montgomery. And later tonight, we'll see these very strong bands for overnight hours for southeastern Alabama with some smaller supercells. And then it looks like we definitely have a huge chance for very strong bands heading towards the Augusta area, Macon, Georgia, where we have possibly had the really strong wind as well, heading towards Savannah and moving out into the Carolinas. Now we'll be looking at the STP, significant tornado parameter, and we'll be looking at what we're seeing right now. Again, we had the very what we saw with that tornado again near the Meridian, and what we see right now with that tornado warning, Alabama, this strong supercell. We have a 7.4 on the SCP, which is actually very high on the for the significant tornado parameter. So definitely a very good chance for seeing more tornadoes to be developed with this band heading to Alabama. So we're going to be seeing around a 3.5 to a 4 in the SCP for areas ahead of that tornado warning. And then later on, we'll possibly see up to again a 7 now in these areas out here in Alabama, around a 5 and 7 on the SCP later on. So definitely be seeing that higher risk throughout Alabama later on. And then by later in the overnight hours, of course, when these bands do move eastward and southwest down to southwestern Georgia, southeastern Alabama, into the northern Panhandle area, where we have that moderate risk just in there. That's we have up to around a 4 to a 6 out here on the STP. So a bit of a kind of a moderate risk there, staying really on the lower side. But as we continue to move on, getting past a 6.2 near the Valdosta area, moving to the Gainesville area. And then the risk does actually go up a little bit with this, again, possibly the low pressure, some strengthening, seeing some cells. We're looking at up to an 8 out there. That's going to be for southern Georgia. And then getting up to a 10 later on. So definitely see a huge risk later on tomorrow morning with the SCP. And then it will be going out later out in the afternoon. Now we're looking at the supercell composite parameter. And again, also we have that supercell out here in Mississippi and Alabama border state line. We have a 29, which is incredibly high. Again, it's actually guaranteed. Because we actually have a supercell. We already know there's a supercell there. So again, as you can tell, once you get really past the 28, that's when you know it's kind of very guaranteed. And then we have the supercell composite parameter, where we have that new tornado warning in Louisiana. We also have up to around a 16 to a 20 on the SCP for central Louisiana. So that's showing you definitely a very, really looks like the European SCP is really doing a good job. So if it does keep on getting accurate every time, looks like we'll have another risk for tornado warnings and tornado watches extending now into the moving to, again, southeastern Louisiana. We have up to a 17 on the SCP. Still incredibly high, but going down a little bit. And then, of course, by later Monday, definitely have a huge risk now to Georgia, getting up to a 18 on the SCP. Really high risk for, again, seeing potential for supercells developing out there into southern Georgia and northern Florida. Could be seeing some really interesting development there, and that will actually strengthen up to close to a 30 out there off the coast, and then seeing up to a 25. Again, definitely see the supercell chance continue to get a bit higher as we get in the Monday hours, and then it will go down a little bit, but still seeing a very high risk now to the Jacksonville area and also Orlando. You guys will have between 7 to 8 on the SCP, so it looks like Florida does have a severe weather risk for tomorrow. So again, like I said earlier on, we have the SCP supercell composite parameter really high now into the Louisiana area, and that's where we have this new extended tornado warning. Again, we definitely have wall cloud formation actually in this very strong band that could possibly bring in a tornado warning. Now, areas now south of Alexandria, it's very likely we could be seeing that band now heading actually straight towards Alexandria. So this is Alexandria. You guys might want to take shelter right now. If you know anybody near Alexandria, please share the video to them. Looks like we'll be heading now towards the Baton Rouge area. Sorry, I apologize. Heading towards the Baton Rouge area, heading towards looks like maybe Lake Charles. You guys might just get skinned by it unless these bands do connect. It looks like Lake Charles. Then you have to worry about that. But again, as you can tell, actually check out the severe weather outbreak. So again, as you can tell, where we have this again, this severe weather band actually be in the moderate and enhanced risk. So again, definitely again that potential for seeing that very strong potential supercell development there. But that is why we had the tornado warning now. Just I believe that I actually don't know what county that is. I don't know what county name that is actually, but again, that is now moving not far from Leesville. It's between Leesville and Alexandria. I believe Leesville is actually in the tornado warning, but also under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. So again, that's gonna be now for it looks like it does show it for southwestern Rapides Parish and central Louisiana. So again, that's what it's looking like there. It looks like golf ball sized hail. Again, radar indicated rotation. And it looks like actually we could possibly see flying debris as well. So again, definitely want to take cover as it is moving as well. Again, this will be now getting closer to now Elmore around 5:40 p.m. Looks like near Lake Camp around 5:20. 5:20. So you guys actually have around 7 minutes to really prepare with this really strong band. Again, definitely seeing a wall cloud formation heading straight towards Alexandria. So definitely something very interesting. We just had a new tornado warning now for actually Glen Mora, and also Alexandria is actually getting now under that tornado warning. So again, now new extended tornado warning here as well. So that is a new one. So definitely need to watch out in Louisiana. Now we're starting again, getting very active, and we can still have the tornado warning out there into the Alabama area. But this is definitely a concern right here. This is definitely the concern of right now. As you can tell, it doesn't look like we have a hook right now. This is not really a hook system right now. This is more of a really big wall cloud system, which is really known for bringing really strong tornadoes as well. So again, it doesn't necessarily look like we will have any hooks with this. Or actually, it actually does look like we might actually have a hook developing. Let me actually put a different color so you can actually see. Looks like right here, as you can tell, we have a little extending part in this system. Looks like we could possibly have a teeny little hook formation. And again, we'll have that air entering. So actually, yeah, it looks like we do have a hook developing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I will, if necessary, post another video, but I don't necessarily think it will be necessary. But bye, guys.